welcome to Houseplants Gone Wild. My name is Kelly. Today I was going to do a video on propagating this Dracaena Dorado. There's not many videos online that I've been able to find for this particular type of species. Mostly are on the Dracaena marginata, which are quite easy to propagate, but not for this one. So today I was going to do a short video on my attempt on propagating and to see how it works. So hope you enjoy. So with this plant here, it's in a sort of this metal pot here, but it's got a very small root system that's inside this pot, and it's, as you can see, it's leaning quite a bit and it's quite tall. Let's see if I can angle that up. It's quite tall, so I wanted to try and cut it back, maybe around the midsection here, and just try and propagate a little bit. This was actually my first houseplant that I ever bought, so hoping that this turns out. If not, they're quite cheap and easy to find for replacement, but hopefully I'll end up with 2 or more plants at the end. So the first thing that I have is just some small shears. These are the only ones that I found that weren't rusted up in the garage, and alcohol swabs so that way you can clean them. I just want to do that in case of any of the previous plants that might have had any bacteria or fungus or anything that was on the leaves. That way you can make sure that it's a nice clean cut. So what I found with other videos online is a lot of people, they just sort of grab leaves and they just sort of pull them down. Now this particular plant, I don't know if I can bend it over. The way it grows is a leaf inside of each other's leaves, and then it just keeps sprouting upward and upward. Typical type of corn plant. So what I'm going to do is pull off a few of the leaves around the midsection. Actually, maybe I'll cut it to make it a little bit easier here. And apparently you can propagate with leaf cutting as well. So with these leaves, I'm also going to give that an attempt. And slowly working my way up. Okay, so right here, that's where I'm going to make a cut, sort of midsection here. I want to do a slightly angled. There we go. It's hard with small scissors. So that is the top of the plant. So with the base of it, you just want to pull off these bottom leaves. So that way it gives it a little bit extra stem for those roots to start to develop. For this one, I have a rooting hormone that I'll probably throw on just to sort of give it some added assistance. And I have a little bit of new plant food that I'll mix in the water that I'll propagate it. You could soil propagate it, but I feel more comfortable with water propagating. I've done it with a lot more plants, so a little bit more experience doing that. So I just want to keep this tip nice and clean, so I'm just going to set it on this little tray. And then for this leftover plant, that will probably dry over and callus. Hopefully it will survive, but I haven't seen anyone else try this, so I figured I would give it a go. And then the other thing I might do is, the plant's already going to kind of go through a little bit of shock, but we are heading into the spring season, and this is some really old soil that I have in this pot, and it's also, as you can see, it's not very stable in there, so I want to give it some new fresh soil. Maybe take a rake and sort of clear off those roots a little bit. That way it's got some fresh soil and new nutrients for going into the growing season. So one thing that I noticed with this plant after I cut it, those small little scissors that I have here, they're quite small in comparison to the stalks, so it was a little bit of a jagged cut. So I might take the scissors or a knife and do a fresh clean cut diagonally, and then just want to really make sure that I keep this area clear to prevent any dirt or debris from sticking in there and contaminating the propagation water. And yeah, this plant I had for quite a long time. I did have it up against a window for a while, and it burned some of the leaves. One of them I actually just cut straight off. A few of these other ones were actually where the leaves naturally curl, but it was pushed right up against a window and it started burning quite quickly. This was late summer last year. So yeah, I will keep updating and see how well this thing roots over time. So before I go and replant this one here, I just wanted to show you what the root system kind of looked like, because this has been in here for quite some time, and wanted to show you kind of how small it is. It's quite a small root ball for the size of plant that we have. So I'm just gonna shake it. I can feel it's quite loose already. I'm using a little bit of a mat here so I don't create too much of a mess. And I'm just gonna break up that soil because of the shape of the pot. Some of the roots, they can kind of expand underneath this rim, and it makes it a little bit difficult to get out. One nice long root here. There we go. So fairly small, nice and compact. For this one here, I'm probably going to put it in, I'd say, an 8-inch pot. Try and keep those roots nice and happy. It's a plant that you probably don't have to upsize the pot very often because, like I said, they grow quite compact and not very tall. I'd say that the height that it was at, judging by the small diameter of the stem, that's roughly how large it could get before you need to upsize the pot or try and propagate it.